Let's talk about how Tupac went from this.
Like today when I had to sign the release form, I felt so bad because I couldn't sign it myself. I had to go and get my mother's and all that. But
To this.
This ain't no game. If this was chess, we'd be yelling checkmate 3 years ago because we've been beat these.
And the stigma that black men face in general.
If it wasn't for Tony,
What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. Thank you for tuning back in. I'm back with another video. I know it's been a while, but I'm back. And I'm back to talk about Tupac. When I usually do these artist breakdown, it's about like a deep dive into their life and career. And I realized, I'm like, I never talked about Tupac. Specifically, I want to talk about his progression, or some people say a lack thereof, when it comes to his thug life persona.
Overthrow the government y'all got right now, which is Bad Boy and Nas and all that bullshit.
With Tupac, whether you were a casual listener or a hardcore fan of his, you know that he can do many different things when it came to rapping. He could do like the party music, the hype music, but then he could also do those songs that made you reflect, made you think about life. He was intellectual, he was a poet. But one of the major things with Tupac that continues to go viral, I swear every 2 weeks I see this clip come up and people saying stuff, being snarky and being like, ooh, about Tupac is, it's an interview of him when he was 17 years old. He went to a performing arts high school, and you can see in the interview, he's younger, he had hair, he had like a little high top, and he's talking, but the difference is, the Tupac that he became known as the big rapper, right? When he was bald-headed, he had the thug-like persona, he was loud and didn't give a fuck, right? This interview, he was soft-spoken, he was mild-mannered, and a lot of people said his movements were kind of zesty because he talked like this, he moved his hand like this, and he was just like, and I'm like, And with that, a lot of people say, oh, you see how Tupac used to be before he became really famous? He's a fraud, he's a fake, he's a phony. He took that character from Juice and ran with it.
So be it. You remember that, motherfucker.
So this is going to be a food for thought video about Tupac's thug life, gangster rap persona, and the question of, was that the real Tupac or was that a character he played? Was that something that he felt like he had to do? Like, okay, I'm a rapper, I gotta act like this for people to take me seriously. Or do you think that's who he was molded to become from the people he hung around with, Suge Knight, and just like his experiences growing up? You know, by the time he passed, he was like 25. When he was 17, that's an 8 gap difference where he experienced many different things, he went through many different things, he put it in his music too. But I really want to know, what did y'all think about this persona?
Nah, nigga, the game. It's not in one person, the game is just in. It's in me. It was in me. Somebody just awoke it. Somebody just woke it up inside me, you know what I'm saying?
Here's the video of Tupac at 17 years old.
18 it's just society's way of saying that you're ready. But 17, like, I think I'm ready now, as ready as I'm gonna be in this world. But so it's okay. I guess 17 is all right.
Right. Well, how do you think you're most like your mom?
I'm most like my mom because I'm arrogant. Totally arrogant. I agree. I have to say it. Like at work, I can't hold a job. I just quit my job today, actually, because I wanted to come and do this.
That video shocked a lot of people because every time I read through the comments, when that video was posted, a lot of people were like, oh, what happened? Oh, this is the real Tupac. Oh, he was so soft-spoken. Oh, he was so zesty. And it's like, oh, wow. He had really feminine movements because when he talked, he did like this. He moved his hand. And I was like, wow, people really overanalyze everything. Now, mind you, this is Tupac at 17 years old. He went to a performing arts high school. And you know, another thing that really stuck out to people is within that video, a lot of people did their research and realized one of the classes that Tupac took was a ballet class.
Because the art school I went to is mostly for white kids and rich minorities.
Think about it. It's like the juxtaposition. It's like the contrast of who Tupac became, this like hardcore thug life gangster rapper. But then 8 years ago, you was doing ballet. And then, you know, being soft-spoken and talking like this and like, oh, like that. And I'm like, damn. But it makes for interesting discussion. What did y'all think of that interview? Because when I first saw it, now here's the thing. I can see different sides. I can see that perspective of people being like compared to how Tupac became, and you see his interviews and how he was loud and like all that, right? And people seeing him like so soft spoken and like, I can see people being like,
Wait a minute, hold on.
like damn. So that he really was an actor. That's another thing. He went to school for ballet. He went to school for acting. He became an actor. And one of the major theories that people say is his character in Juice, Bishop, who was just wild and reckless.
I don't give a fuck.
They say he took that character and molded it into like his already outgoing personality. When he shaved his head bald, that became like his final form of Tupac, Thug Life. Now I could see what people were saying, but to me, I don't really think it was like nothing too, oh my God, like that's Tupac. It's just like, okay, that's from him when he was younger, he was in high school, and then the talking with his hands and all that. To me, I feel like people overanalyze things like that because, and y'all know me, some of y'all that been watching me for a while, even when I look back at my videos while I'm editing, I talk with my hands a lot. I'm doing this and doing that, and when I'm editing, I can see me like, so I'm like, damn, I was really serious. But some people are animated like that, you know? I can't just be here and talk like, so, you know, Tupac, you know, back in the day, he was, I feel stiff. When I talk, I'm like this, I'm like this, I'm like. So in that interview, Tupac was tame. It was for a high school thing. I don't see why Tupac would feel the need to be like, oh. But even in that interview, you could tell how intellectual Tupac was when he talked about things like this.
There should be a drug class. There should be sex education. There should be a class on scams. There should be a class on religious cults. There should be a class on police brutality. There should be a class on apartheid. There should be a class on racism in America. There should be a class on why people are hungry, but they're not. Their classes on gym, you know, physical education. And then teaching you how to understand double talk, politicians double talk, not teaching you how to understand French and Spanish and German. When am I going to Germany? I can't afford to pay my rent in America.
And then even looking at that interview and seeing how he talked about things like that, that followed him. When he was in his 20s, he still talked about things like that. But the difference was he was in that Tupac persona. He had different clothes. He had a different kind of attitude with when he was saying how he was saying. But that intellectual mindset and perspective always followed him.
Imagine somebody having $32 million. $32 million. And this person has nothing. And you can sleep. You can still go to the movies about, I mean, and then these are the type of people that get humanitarian awards. Millionaires.
But like I said in the beginning, another thing I want to talk about is the stigma with black men and how we're stereotyped and how it's like most of us have this thing on us where like we gotta be tough and hardcore, and you know, even growing up, we're told to man up, hurry up, don't cry. Like some people, some men, some black men say like when they were younger, they went through this, went through that. In high school, we got all kind of stories. I got stories. I made videos about them. I might link them in the description box. But like I said, there's this stigma of black men being tough and hardcore and having like this hood thing with us, oh, my nigga, all that, right? But it's like, and even when people tried to explain it, you know, some Tupac fans, they were like, oh, that's when he was 17. By the time he died, he was in his 20s. He grew up, he matured. But why is it when it comes to black boys, black teens, black men, a part of their growth and maturity is expected to indulge in thug life, hood culture, street culture? Why is that expected of them? Why is that stigmatized? Why is that a stereotype? And then it's like, if a black guy, black teen, black man doesn't indulge in that, he isn't seen as hood or street. He's considered lame, square, boring, or not black enough. I know y'all seen that. Where it's like, oh, or you talk too properly, like Tupac was doing in that interview when he was 17. It's like, oh, you're trying to be white. Oh, you're not black enough. Your black card is revoked. All that kind of shit people be saying. It's like,
You talking about class? You got a lot of nerve.
But then I even put it into another perspective where it's just like, a lot of people are attracted to that. Like a lot of guys look up to that. You know, through the music. Some people really rap about it, and some people it's all an act. Where it's like they put that into the music, and it's like, yeah, it brings this thing. It was just like it hypes people up, and even women are attracted to that. Where it's like the risk of it all, the danger, the thrill of it all, to be with a guy that's hood and thug and like carry guns with him and all that. That's exciting to them.
Dog for life, but keep it true.
But I also look at it like this, right? Say Tupac got popular with his songs and his music, but he didn't have that thug life persona to him that he did when he like shaved his head bald, right? Like this. He even got it tattooed on his stomach. If he didn't have that persona, and he still acted like he did when he was 17, and he was like soft spoken and da. Do you think people would have took him seriously? Do you think guys would have been like, oh yeah? Do you think a lot of women would have been attracted to him in that type of way? Besides the physical, it's many different times I see it on social media or online where a lot of women be like, oh, I was with this guy, he was cute, but he was boring. I want a hood nigga. I want They like being with street dudes that act like a Tupac or the persona Tupac had. A lot of the things you experience, a lot of the people you hang around with can change your personality. People could have a set personality, but it could also change depending on who you're around and what influences you to act and move a certain way. How many of us grew up with certain people, but then when you know, drift off or whatever the case is, when you were 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, they acted one way, you meet them in their 20s, it's a difference. And it's not to say like, oh, we grew up, we're older now, we're adults now. It's like something in them is like, damn, she's different, he's different. And you know, I have a great example of this. Y'all know Nipsey Hussle. He was a rapper. He was married to Lauren London. He got shot, he got killed. I think this was like 5-6 years ago, right? He had the braids. I remember watching his memorial on BET, and his brother and father was up there talking, and they showed like some childhood videos when he was a little child. And I was like, and you know, he was about to be like 6, 7. They was like youthful, fun, running around and like, just being like little fun kids. But then you see, as he grew up, Nipsey Hussle had that thug life hood persona to him with the way he dressed, talked, and acted. And I was like, You see, when you're a child, it's like this innocence to you. Even when he was younger, he had like a little accent because I think his family came from like another type of country. But as he got older, he had like that thug life, hood persona, street persona type of thing to him. So what does that mean? Somewhere along the way, maybe in his teenage years, he started hanging around certain people. He adopted to a certain lifestyle, a certain culture, the hood culture, street life culture, and he became the Nipsey Hussle. Same could be said with Tupac. He was 17, it was one thing, and you could tell at that time Tupac was outgoing, but over time, he started hanging around certain people, getting influences from this and that, and he applied it to his persona, how he wanted people to see him. And you could tell Tupac liked when people saw him in this way.
A lot of people who know you, and I talked to them beforehand, suggested that, hey, you know, when you meet him, he's going to be something entirely different than you imagine and what the media is portraying him. What about that idea that you have been portrayed, and sometimes, I mean, to be honest, you like the portrayal of you just hard, thug.
That's right.
Don't step on me.
That's right.
You're in trouble.
That's right.
But what I think overall is that seeing people's reaction to a young Tupac, to what he became when he was in his 20s, that just goes to show the expectations people have when it comes to black men, black guys. Where black men are not a monolith. You know, there's a spectrum. People think you're either this or that, but there's an in-between. You know, Tupac could have did ballet, but he could also could have did gangster rap, which is what he did. Black men, black boys, black guys can like anime. They can like to cook. They can like to bake. Do all kind of different things. They can like theater. They can like art. They can like this. They can like. They're always, every black guy don't like gang banging and yeah, my nigga. Oh yeah, what's up? Yeah, what's up, nigga?
Oh my God.
Every black guy is not street, not on the corner, not hood. They're not selling weed. They're not doing this. They're not doing that. I'm one of them, right? it's not even mild-mannered. It's just, I just treat people how they treat me. But I don't have this thing where I talk a certain way. Every other word in my mouth is nigga, nigga, nigga. This, that. Oh, my nigga, man. I just don't talk like that. Obviously, I am black. I know about black culture, black history, black this, black that, blah, 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 blah. You know, I am black culture. I experience black culture. I am a part of the culture. You know, the hood culture, that's a whole nother thing, and that could be its own video. Let me know if y'all want to see a video or my thoughts about hood culture and what it's becoming, what it used to be. But the bottom line is that all black men have different personalities. They grow up differently, different experiences, indulge in different lifestyles. And we shouldn't be stigmatized or stereotyped to be expected to act a certain way. There's a thing as growth, maturity, but a part of that shouldn't be like, oh, you know, Tupac just got older, he just matured. Yeah. That's why he started acting like that. It's just like, sometimes, like I said, it's those outside influences. It's your environment. It's what you grow up around that influence you to act a certain way. Or have a swift change in your personality. But then you think about it, Tupac became really mainstream. He became one of the top rappers. So it's like you have to keep up with some type of image, appearance, the way you dress, the way you act, the way you present yourself. I don't give a fuck type of attitude. And the fact that Tupac went to performing arts high school, he was an actor. You just combine all of that, I feel like it was just a combination of things that made Tupac become the person, the artist, the man he became, versus him at 17 years old doing an interview for his high school. So with that, I'm gonna ask y'all, what do y'all think about Tupac's persona, his thug life persona? Do you think that was the real Tupac? Or do you think that was him pretending, that was him acting? You think he was a fraud, like a lot of people say? Or do you think Tupac's thug life persona, his hood persona, his gangster rapper persona was really him, but that was him after experiencing 8 more years of life than when he was 17 in that first video? And what do y'all think about the stigmas and stereotypes placed on black men in general to act a certain way? And if they don't, they're considered lame or not black enough. And for a more fun question, what's some of y'all favorite Tupac songs, albums, or movies? Let me know down below. This should be a really interesting discussion. You know, I took 3 weeks off, but I said I gotta come back with a banger. I'm like, Tupac, I never talked about Tupac and this transition he had. What do y'all think about it? From doing ballet in high school to being one of the top gangster rappers in the 90s. Let's talk about this. Please don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Thank you for watching and listening. I'll see y'all in the next video.
Are they waiting for legislation to pass and everything? We next door to the killer. We need protection too.